Okay, let's jump right in. In this explainer, we're unpacking one of the most emotional, grueling, and absolutely triumphant redemption arcs in the history of sports, Royal Challengers Bengaluru's 2025 IPL maiden victory. Look, if you follow cricket, you already know this wasn't just about a team winning a shiny trophy. No, this was about a fiercely loyal fan base and a franchise finally exercising almost 2 decades of demons. Take a second and just listen to this profound perspective from Virat Kohli. It perfectly captures the raw, unfiltered emotion of enduring nearly 20 years of agonizing near misses. He admits that if they'd won it all in those earlier years, it wouldn't have been even 5% of the feeling he had in 2025. All that accumulated stress, all that pressure, it actually made this victory the absolute pinnacle of his cricketing journey. 18, it's just a number, right? But here, this single heavy number represents 18 long years of unwavering loyalty, cruel heartbreaks, endless internet trolling, and a deeply emotional wait for millions of fans. For 18 seasons, this franchise took a massive beating from critics for failing to convert star-studded squads into championship success. It really wasn't just a losing streak anymore. For the fans, it felt like a lived tragedy. So, to really understand the sheer magnitude of the tears shed on June 3rd, 2025, we have to rewind a bit. We need to examine the painful journey that forged this unbreakable team. How exactly did a side that was historically burdened by its own massive expectations finally push through to lift the cup? As you'll see here, this franchise repeatedly climbed right to the precipice of glory, only to fall back into despair time and time again. You have their initial struggles setting the tone in 2008, followed by a young, fiery Virat Kohli arriving in 2009. We all remember 2016, right? Kohli played like an absolute machine, only for them to lose a devastating final on their home ground. And of course, the emotional whiplash of 2024, where an unbelievable comeback ended in a heartbreaking eliminator loss in Ahmedabad. But through all of those incredibly dark times, fans clung to a single, powerful chant passed down through generations. Isala Cup Namde. This year, the cup is ours. It turned RCB from just a cricket team into an intense, generational bond. When the rest of the world mocked them, the fans stood outside the M. Channaswamy Stadium holding signs that simply said, "We believe in you." Section 1. The 2024 Catalyst, the miraculous turnaround. Actually, the seeds of the 2025 championship were planted during the absolute lowest point of 2024. True resilience is forged in the fire, right? Halfway through that year, look at this split. They literally went from dead last to a phenomenal 6-match winning streak. Their pace attack, which had been heavily criticized early on, tightened up drastically to an 8.72 economy rate. They proved to themselves they had the grit to close out tight games. And during that incredible late-season charge, their overall run rate exploded to an astonishing 11.03. I mean, imagine facing a team with that kind of momentum. They started leading the league in boundaries and sixes, unlocking this fearless brand of cricket that they carried right into the next year. It's a great reminder to all of us that sometimes your lowest low is just the launchpad for your greatest comeback. Section 2. Architects of the 2025 squad, building the championship core. Now, armed with that renewed belief, the management made some brilliant, calculated decisions heading into the 2025 season to finally finish the job. They knew the psychological barrier was just as big as the physical one. So, trusting Rajat Patar with the captaincy allowed Kohli to play with ultimate freedom, totally unburdened by the weight of leading the side. Meanwhile, retaining Yash Dayal for 5 crores showed immense faith in their bowling attack, and bringing in the recently retired Dinesh Karthik as batting coach alongside head coach Andy Flower, that provided a perfectly steady, experienced dressing room environment. Section 3. Dominating the league stage, an unprecedented run. Well, the 2025 season was a completely different story. The squad absolutely dominated the league stage, finishing in second place with 19 points. They secured 9 wins out of 14, and get this, they became the first team in IPL history to win all of their away games in a single season, literally the first ever. They had completely shed their historical fragility and developed this lethal road warrior mentality. It showed a team that thrived in hostile environments, which is an absolutely crucial trait for champions. Section 4. The Grand Finale, June 3, 2025, Narendra Modi Stadium. That brings us right to the climax against the Punjab Kings in Ahmedabad, where a massive sea of red waited to see if the 18-year curse would finally be broken. The stage was set.
RCB lost the toss and were asked to bat first on the biggest stage of all. But man, Phil Salt and Virat Kohli came out absolutely firing, forging a massive 98-run opening stand. Kohli brought out that vintage 2016-esque aggression, hitting a boundary on the very first over and getting the entire stadium on its feet. They posted a formidable 190 for 9, but with Punjab's deep batting lineup, the game was far from over.
You could literally feel the suffocating tension in the stadium as Punjab's top order relentlessly accelerated. An RCB loss suddenly felt terrifyingly possible. Simran Singh came out swinging, smashing 25 runs in just the first 3 overs. Punjab raced to 80 for 2 in 10 overs, leaving them needing exactly 100 runs to shatter RCB's dreams once again. Fans in the stands who had been waiting since 2008 were sitting there with their hands folded in prayer. But then, the man who suffered the worst trolling in 2024, Yash Dayal, delivered the over of his entire life. It was incredible. He took 3 massive wickets in 5 balls and completely broke Punjab's spine. First delivery, bowls Shreyas Iyer. Second ball, gets Glenn Maxwell caught out. Fourth ball, traps Josh Inglis LBW. It was an absolute masterclass in handling pressure. Dayal stepped up when his team needed him the most, turning the entire momentum of the final completely upside down. 6. Thanks to that wild over and some seriously disciplined death bowling, RCB squeezed the life out of the chase, winning the match by a razor-thin margin of just 6 runs. Punjab managed to reach 184 for 7, but it just wasn't enough. The defense held.
Section 5. Ultimate Redemption. The wait is over. As the final ball was bowled, the stadium erupted into this indescribable wall of sound, ending 18 years, 11 months, and countless broken dreams. The deafening roar of E Salah Cup Namde finally changed from a hopeful prayer into a triumphant reality. Now, behind all that emotion were the absolute statistical heroes of 2025. Kohli topped the run charts with a massive 657 runs, Phil Salt anchored the top order with 403, and Josh Hazlewood acted as the ultimate strike bowler, taking 22 wickets across the season. They absolutely carried this team. But honestly, the stats totally fade away when you picture Virat Kohli, a man who gave 19 seasons to one single franchise, kneeling on the grass and crying tears of pure, unadulterated relief. He pressed his forehead to the very turf where he had experienced so much heartbreak over the years. It was just a deeply human moment, reminding us exactly why we watch sports in the first place.
And that leaves us with this final, thrilling thought to end our explainer. The curse is dead, the cup is theirs, and a new, completely fearless era of RCB cricket has just begun. With the pressure finally off their shoulders, just how dangerous will this team be moving forward? Thanks so much for exploring this incredible journey with me, and we'll catch you on the next explainer.
Okay,